the weekly feed. I'm Kyle, Meredith, Brian, Madeline from Cult. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome. It's awesome to have you guys here. I know Static is out. You seem to be pretty busy on the big promotion machine, the big giants.
Yeah.
Joined here at Zanzibar in Louisville in front of the awesome arcade. The relics of the past, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Love Rampage.
Yeah, although I feel like it could fit in a little bit with the themes you guys have been putting out there lately, somewhere with the TVs.
Yeah.
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 No,
Definitely.
it's been awesome to kind of see you guys blossom and come to and whatnot. What I love about Colts is you seem to be one of the rare bands that's figured out how to make art accessible to mainstream. It's not easy. It's not, the usual, I guess, formula isn't there, and it's not instantly accessible, yet it works for everybody. I mean, how do you go into this? I mean, is that even in the game plan where you say, we want to be off kilter, but we also want to make it work?
I think it's just like a natural part of our personalities, like we like, it's kind of funny, like I feel like we went about it the opposite way. Like growing up, we were both pretty huge like music and art snob, probably really annoying high school kid to talk to, but then now that we've, grown up and we're more mature, we actually like encounter more pop stuff than we do of all the old art stuff we used to watch. So I think the process of this band has been like growing more and more towards like, more kind of accessible ideas and finding more interesting things to do with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's definitely something you guys put in there that, wouldn't work for just anybody, but for some reason it's almost like you pull the rug out from under them and sneak it in there or something. It's how I hear it. I mean, there are all the comparisons, the girl group style of vocals and everything that, past generation seems to love. I mean, I use an example. I think my mom could get into you guys if she wanted to.
We're big with little kids.
Yeah, and it works everywhere.
We love kids and moms.
Yeah, but somewhere along the lines, because of you guys, they're going to find like Yoko Ono and something like that, and it's just going to be a different world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they didn't already.
Yeah. Well, let's back up a little bit. So, Go Outside takes off and becomes this huge monster. You go through all the stuff of that first album, and then you come into Static. You start working on Static. What was the pressure like? Because for me, it seems like it wasn't so much that you had to follow up your debut, it's that you had to prove yourself against this one occurrence, this one mind-blowing instance.
I think I felt more pressure recording the first record than I did personally doing Static, just because I was so nervous, because we had only put 3 songs out, and then we had to prove that we could write a whole album, which, a lot of people...
And if we blew that, it would have been over.
We wouldn't have even had a chance to do any of the things that we were doing. And I was less nervous, I feel, because we had toured so much, and I saw that like we had worked really hard to build a fan base. So it was like, I figured we weren't doing anything too crazy.
Right.
The concept of like pressure too, like it negates the reality of how much we love doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's no concept of pressure in the studio. It's like the best part of our year. Right. We get to just go in there and make music and like, play stupid guitar solos and sing and just hang out with each other, and it's like the best thing ever.
So there's not really a push
much. I mean, it's not scary. It's exciting.
So then you say it's much easier the second time around?
No.
No. But like I said, it sort of felt like our second time around doing our first one.
Right.
And this sort of felt like doing our third record, which was not easy.
Right.
There's definitely like there was a naivety to the way that we approached the first one, as far as like, the minute details of everything, like not really knowing like what a compressor does, or not knowing like, what instruments we could use, and this time like having the knowledge of how everything worked made the whole thing like kind of harder and slower, because we'd think about everything. Like we'd hear a drum sound and be like, oh, I think that kick needs like a little bit more release time on the compressor, and then before I'd be like, I don't know, it doesn't sound great, fix it, and then someone else would do it.
It's learning the language.
Yeah, it was like really getting it in with your hands and making sure that it's just what you wanted.
Yeah. Well, so what is it? Because something happened somewhere along the way and it did work. It worked for everybody. What don't we know about the road to success for you guys? What was going on in the back part that everyone hasn't figured out yet? Why the Colts were able to take off?
A lot of work. I mean, it's just pretty much since we wrote Go Outside, which is the first song that we did, we really haven't had any time off, but we like that, but it's not, being in a band isn't something where you can be like, oh, I'm gonna take like 6 months off, and then like you are working every single day. So hard work.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like there's a lot of attention paid more than just the music. You've got a complete visual component.
Yeah, that's really fun for us, because that's like what we originally studied in school and thought we were going to do with our lives, was work on like film or video or whatever we could scrap our way into. So being able to incorporate some elements of that, it's almost like it's not only something that's fun for us, but it's like a sanity thing. Like you can get to do something different for a while, change your brain chemistry, and then go back to.
I mean, how much conversation goes into that side of things when you're talking about like, this is how we want? I mean, I don't know, even down to your clothes. This is how we want the backdrop and the artwork to look. I mean, how much of that conversation actually happens?
We don't talk about clothes very often.
We talk about clothes a little bit.
Yeah, but
mostly, I mean, like when we finished the record, like I said before, like we like to be working all the time. The second that there was nothing to be done with the music, we immediately started having conversations every day about what we wanted the record cover to look like and how we wanted the live show to look, and we can like spend every second working on that.
Yeah, I had this like, we got an interview recently, and this guy asked me, he's like, so like, the album's static, and it seems like you guys are incorporating like a lot of like static images. Like, how did your label like, push you into that kind of marketing, branding thing? What are those words? Like, I don't even think of it that way. It's like, we're just trying to present a show, and like to work with a concept every time we do a record. We don't make concept albums, but we make visually. There has to be a theme, otherwise it's confusing for us.
Well, kind of on that same route, then, does what you guys see on the visuals, does that ever influence the music? Instead of making the music and then going, this is what it looks like, does it ever play the other way?
Definitely, especially for this record. Like, we knew from the very beginning that it was going to be called Static, and we knew what the cover was going to be, and when we were crafting a lot of like the timbre of the album, we were thinking about like white noise and distortion and a way to make things sound really big and full without using a lot of reverb, like we did on the first record, and because we're like, it's funny, like we work with the same producer as Sleigh Bells, who are like good friends of ours, and he says it's a constant joke for him, because if he plays anything for Derek from Sleigh Bells without like a crazy distortion on it, Derek will just like have a panic attack and have to run out of the studio. And if he plays anything for us without like these echoey reverbs, we're like, oh God, what are we doing? And we'll lose our minds. So
we shouldn't expect the acoustic album anytime soon.
Well, it's not. No
MTV Unplugged on the way.
No.
Is there an actual story then behind the artwork of one of the first record versus the artwork of the second record? I mean, visually it is similar. I've got to imagine that was part of the conversation.
Yeah, the CD is similar, but the vinyl's different, which I thought was cool. We wanted to do two different things because I don't know, it's just kind of fun to have a different look at something. But I don't know, we didn't really like conceptualize completely for the CD that it was going to be similar to the first one, but when it came down to it, it just seemed logical, because this record, I mean, as much as it is different, it felt like the tail side of a coin. I think the first record's like a lot about it's very youthful and very kind of naive, and it's about wanting independence and distancing yourself from people. And I think this record is kind of the opposite. It's about like growing up and realizing that your relationships with people are the most important thing you have, and encouraging people to actually foster those and not live in like a fake world where they're constantly online or something, or taking everything for granted. So it felt cool to have it be two different looks of the same thing.
Were you surprised then, because I'm sure you caught like back in the Beatles, everyone really dissected everything the Beatles did or something like that. And when you put out those artworks, the first thing it said, you know, that I read everywhere on the research is, look, they're looking at each other in this one, and in this one they're not looking at each other.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that's around
That's
there.
cool.
So that's when that's when everybody reads into the relationship and everything else, and that I mean.
Yeah, that was, I didn't even
That's I didn't think about
realize
it. Yeah.
that.
That's hilarious.
We just like the poses.
Well, there you have it. You're not looking at each other in the
No.
second album. That's
Fair
funny.
enough.
Actually, we did that on purpose.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. That's what you want to do it.
Yeah.
Tell me about the soundtrack. They're part of the Jim Jarmuth, right?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
just came out yesterday.
No, it came out maybe like, they started streaming it like a week ago. It was cool. Shane, is Shane in the band?
Yep.
Oh, there's a band. Jim has a band with our producer Shane Stoneback and Carter, who works with Jim. And one day I just got a phone call asking if I wanted to come in and do a cover, and I was like, they're never going to use this.
Right.
I was like, sure, yeah, I'll do it, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then apparently he loved it. So
It sounds great, but it sounds like you're almost like getting into character on the song too.
I
Like there's a
was
vocal
like-
thing going on, and
I was like, I would do a take, and then Shane would be like, all right, come smoke like 15 cigarettes. And I'd be like smoking and singing and like drinking whiskey.
They told
I
her to
was
sing
so-
like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
awesome.
I was in character.
It came out really cool. I mean, it's almost striking the first time you hear it. You know,
Yeah.
to go with something like that.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think that it turned out really well. I'm really excited about it.
Well, speaking of excited, I'm excited about the whole year. It's, like I said, Static sounds great. And thank you guys for hanging out and joining, all right?
Yeah, no
you.
problem.
All right, we'll see you
We
guys
love
around.
coming here. All right.
Yeah, all right. Thanks.